Everybody loves a secret. Well, today we're going to get some health secrets. My name is Yvonne Lewis, and you're watching Urban Report. Hello and welcome to Urban Report. Today my guest is Nice Collins, host of Dare to Dream's scrumptious food program, A Taste of Paradise, and director of Sonari Life Ministries. Welcome, Nice.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
You know, you're our first in-house guest. We usually Skype in our guests.
Really?
And you are our first in-house guest.
Oh,
Yay!
wow. I guess today is something to celebrate extra about. But,
Absolutely.
But it's definitely good to be here and share on the Urban Report. It's always got to see many reports, but now I get to see an urban report.
Urban Report.
So that's fantastic.
How come when I look at you, I start feeling hungry?
Uh-oh.
You know, all week we've been in session, you know, taping second season of A Taste of Paradise.
Right.
And you and Avita have the most scrumptious recipes, really. I mean, I'm excited because I get to taste things after they're done and the crew gets to eat and everything. It's really a blessing, really a blessing. So we're really glad that you're with Dare to Dream and doing all that you do for the cause of Christ.
Right.
Tell us about Sonari Ministries. Where'd that name come from?
Well, Sonari Life Consultants is actually it's a small company, and it's actually our business to minister to people, you know what I mean? And Sonari, or sanar in Latin, means to restore. And our goal is to bring restoration to people, but not just by per se telling people what to do. You know, there's many people, you go to a health lecture and they say, do this, don't do that, and stuff like that, and then you leave the lecture feeling depressed. You're like, why am I still alive? I do everything wrong. You know what I'm talking about? And our goal is, wait a second, no. Restoration will come through education.
Okay.
And so when we look at the life of Jesus as well, he didn't come and say, do this or do that. He educated them. They asked him, what shall I do? And he says, well, check this out. Look at this story. And this is how it works. So then when people left, not only were they educated, but they left encouraged.
Yes.
And so our focus is to encourage people, educate them, and then they will be more proactive to take care of themselves, and then that's what will happen. Restoration will take place. And so that's what we do. We have consultants throughout now. We're developing even more because there's so much work. We can't keep up with it. We're getting calls left and right. People are angry at us, sending us emails. How come you haven't responded yet? And we can't keep up. So now we're focusing on training others, and now more consultants will be able to go out and bring the good news of health, healing, and restoration via education, of course.
Amen. So you have a segment that is teaching, or you're training others, and then you're also doing the training of large groups.
Yes.
You're training trainers?
Right. So we're training the trainer, and we're also meeting the masses as well. But even though we do large presentations, we find that the bulk of our work, the most important part of the work, is our one-on-one consultations. Like everybody can go to a session and I want to eat healthy, and they're excited and stuff. But what we try to do with our consultants as well is encourage them to stay behind a couple of days and work with individuals on a one-on-one basis. Now, and that's crucial because not everybody can ask a question in a public setting, and of course, you know, sometimes things are of a private matter, you know, and they can't do that then. So we find that when we work with them on a one-on-one, we can help them, you know, ascertain maybe the cause of the situation, and then encourage them and give them a plan, or work with them to develop a plan of restoration, you know what I mean? And it's been like successful, like beyond belief. And it's so funny. People say, where'd you come up with this idea? Well, there's nothing new under the sun. You know what I mean? We look at the master consultant. His name is Jesus Christ. JC, they would say. And he did it. He did the big presentations, you know, the Sermon on the Mount, and he fed the thousands. That was a little cooking class he did. You know what that is, right? He showed them how to take some fish and make some bread, and then he showed how to, you know, multiply it, of course, with the power of the Lord. And he also, the bulk of his ministry happened what? One-on-one.
One-on-one.
One-on-one. Why are we doing different? So we said, no need to reinvent the wheel. Let's encourage the people, and for those who would like more information, then meet with us, and we'll dedicate time for you. That's where the hard work is.
And you know, that's so important because it individualizes the information.
Yes.
You know, if information is just generalized, then people can't necessarily apply it to themselves, but with the one-on-one, they can, because they can say, well, you know what, I have this issue with sugar, or I have this issue with, you know, wanting too much starches, like mac and cheese and stuff. And you can show them how to make the healthy version, which leads us to how they can look better and feel better. What are some of these health secrets?
Well, there is, you know, there's an old song. I don't know if you know this song. This is when I used to be young, before you were around.
Oh, right, of course, of course.
There's this old song. I'm not going to try to sing for you all, but it's there is no secret what God can do. What He's done for others, He would do for you and me. That was the remix version. There's no secret. Actually, there's simple principles that we all can follow. And you mentioned something that, you know, there's how many, 5, 6 odd billion people in the world, but everybody is unique in nature. And so everybody needs a unique guide or something that's tailored to them. So we specify our programs to each individual, but the principles always stay the same.
Oh,
right?
Good.
So the principles are the same all throughout. So we encourage them to follow principles, and then we tailor make it, you know, to their specific needs. And so a couple of secrets or principles, I like to call them principles, are simple items. You know, the number one, the most important one, or let me pull back here. There's simple 8 laws of health.
Okay.
People call it 8 laws of health, 8 natural remedies and all that stuff. I call them 8 what's ups from the Lord. You know what I mean? Because He is just giving us these principles to follow, not so we can be slaves or anything, but so we can prosper, we can be in good health. A lot of times when you look at individuals who are trying to follow a healthy lifestyle, they look tired and discouraged. Like, I don't eat this, and oh no, don't touch that, and I have to be there at this time. I'm like, man, you look messed up. You know what I mean? Health is supposed to be a blessing, not a burden. And so it's changing. And I'm like, no, that's not what health is all about. And remember, Jesus rolled up, if you don't mind me saying that, on the Pharisees and stuff. And you know, they were all there. And some of them were fasting, right? And they were like looking like this. You know, why are you twisting up your face? Fix your face, you know what I mean? This is supposed to be a good thing that you're doing. You're supposed to be thankful that this fast now is an opportunity for you to draw closer to, you know, to my Father. And so a lot of that stuff is there. So there are the 8 laws of health, or 8 what's ups from the Lord. And, hey, what's up? You know, you should do this and try this and stuff so we can prosper. And we all know them, the nutrition and the exercise and the water and the sunshine and the temperance and the fresh air and the rest and the trust in God. But I remember I was hearing something along the way. One person says, we are anti-Christians. You know what I mean? You have the New Testament.
Right.
I was like, New Testament? He said, yeah, we're New Testament Christians. I said, what? No, I believe in the whole Bible. He said, yeah, but most of you people, all you believe is in nutrition and trust in God. I said, you know what? He hit something on the key. And a lot of times, all we think is of nutrition. Am I a vegetarian? Are you eating this? Are you eating that? Oh, but I go to church, you know, and I love the Lord. Well, what happened to the rest? That's only 2/8 of the story.
That's right.
And so what we want to do is encourage people to try their best. Yes, number one, we're going to trust in the Lord. What we realize is one of the key secrets or principles that God has given us. If you trust in me, there's nothing to worry about.
That's right.
If you ever notice people who worry, immediately you can see them. They can be eating right and exercising and drinking water, but you can tell when they're stressed out. Immediately you say, hey, how's it going? I'm all right. No, you're not. No, you're not. Something is wrong. What's going on? Stress, number one, is one of the keys to relieve yourself from those stresses. Spend more time with the Lord. Dedicate a time every day and say, Lord, at this time I'm going to meet with you. And don't let nobody mess around with that. So that's one of the crucial items. Stress, you know, trying to live a stress-free life or de-stress yourself. I think if you remember in one of our recipes, we have how do you call it? Not a de-stressert.
Right.
It's a dessert, but it would help you de-stress because of the walnuts that we put in it, the flax seed that's in it, and you know, it has some good natural sweetness.
See, that's why I get hungry. when I was
okay, all right. I'm going to stop talking about food then. The key is to de-stress yourself and stuff of that nature. I know eating is important, but if you notice, and I'm going to do a little study, people up in the Northeast, New York or even over in Chicago, the big cities, we're exercising every day, we're taking care of our body, but man, we're falling down left and right, 50, 60 years old. But let's go down south. And some of the people, not quite a bit exercise and stuff, but you notice the diet down south is, hey, just give me some, give me some chicken, fry me this and fry me that.
Yeah.
But they're living still. They're in their like 60s, 70s, and 80s. They may have a couple extra blessings, you know what I mean? But they're still living. Why? Because they enjoy life. They're not stressed out. They go to church and they're praising the Lord. After church, they're doing something else, but they enjoy life.
And I think the key, that's the word, joy. Because there's so many people that are so caught up in the do's and don'ts that they don't enjoy life. They don't realize that there's such joy in being a Christian and serving the Lord. There's joy, there's happiness. So you don't have to, a thing that I appreciate about your ministry is that you don't beat people over the head with, you better do this or you better do that. It's more like, if you want to get the most out of life, if you want to really enjoy your life, then this is a way to eat. This is an alternative way to eat that's, you're not making people think that, they're going to lose their salvation if they don't eat properly, but rather they're going to enjoy life to its fullest. And this is what Christ would have us to do, to actually have a sense of balance, and not get all caught up in, oh, you better do this or you better do that or you just
Here's what we realized, as I mentioned earlier, there's nothing new under the sun. In general, the majority of people know what's good and what's bad. So why am I going to come there reminding them, if you do this, this is what's going to happen? So I realized, look, we all have good health information. Everybody knows what they should do. So where's the problem? We're lacking the encouragement part. People just need to be encouraged.
So you give the support.
Right, we're just here to support you. People like, tell me some new information. Sorry, I'm just going to encourage you to do what you already know you should be doing. It is an old saying that if we just did what we already know, we would not be here today. We'll be hanging out in some crazy universe, flying around. If we just did what we already know. I'm not going to come and say, if you take a piece of carpet every day and add a little salt and pepper and mix it up with some green spirulina or something of that nature, you're going to get healthy. No, there's no secret, remedy or something of that nature. But these are principles that we all can follow, And so one, of course, is de-stressing and trusting in the Lord. No need to worry anymore. Another principle is, of course, resting. Taking some time off.
Why is that important? Why is rest important?
Well, rest is crucial. The body basically heals itself when we're resting. You know what I mean? I always do programs for little children, right? And I say, you all want to grow? Yes, I'll go nice. I'm like, great, go to bed. The bones, elongate, while we're sleeping. And I always tell my friends, because my dad is like 6-something, and my brothers from his side are 6-something. What happened to me? What I realized is, and I don't know, it's just a crazy study that I'm doing on myself. I realized I really didn't like school when I was growing up, right?
Okay.
I'm just being honest. I didn't like school. And so I was like, Mom, enough of this stuff. I can make my own money doing something and playing football. And she was like, no way, Jose, you're going to finish school. And so I said, okay. What happens when I finish? She said, then you can do whatever you want. I can leave the house? Yeah. I finished high school, 15, 16. I didn't sleep. All I did was study. I got out of there. 15, 16 years old. I'm like, Mom, I'm done. I can leave. She was like, don't
You got
leave.
out of high school at 15 or 16?
Right. As soon as I turned 16, I was done with that thing. I finished like in my second and a half year. I was just, enough is enough.
Wow.
And I had an opportunity now to start traveling and doing all of those items. But the key is I wasn't sleeping. So now I'm right there at about 5'11", 6. I like to put a little 6 down or something of that nature. But I'm like, man, all my other brothers are so tall. And I think at that stage, at 12, when I was 12, 13, 14, 15, I didn't sleep. All I did was study, because I wanted to get out of school. So resting is a process that your body uses to restore itself. It produces a hormone called melatonin. And the melatonin goes in and just, fixes up the little items there that may be causing problems. And so actually there was a study coming out that showed that those who work that night shift, they call it graveyard shift. I like to change it up. I think they call it graveyard because what it does when you work at nighttime, it puts your body in such a debilitated state that you're one step away from the grave. You know what I mean? And actually, one gentleman was sharing something really unique. He was like, you know why they pay people time and a half? And I was like, why is that? He said, because you're destroying your body so much, they're paying you your medical benefits or your medical bills in advance for an extra 25 cents, you know? And so you can't turn around and sue the company for forcing you to work at nighttime because we already gave you your settlement. I thought that was just the funniest thing that I've ever heard. But also the study shows that when a person works at night and does that swing shift, it's almost like flipping a coin. They increase their chances by almost 30% of developing like a form of cancer or something of that nature. So I'm like, whoa. So I'm thinking, if that's for the night shift workers, what about me, who go to bed maybe 11, 12, 1 o'clock? At least they're getting paid for it. We need to go to sleep because we're not getting anything for it. So rest is a crucial item there that people can do. And a lot of people have noticed that they feel better as a result of getting good rest also.
And it actually ages you when you don't rest.
Oh,
you know, for everybody that's concerned with anti-aging and all that, when you don't sleep, you look older. When you get some good rest, you know, you look refreshed and all that. Of course, you don't have to worry about that right now.
Well, it looks like you've been sleeping a long time. Oh,
look at that. See, that's why you're my bud.
You're doing excellent. So, you know, the rest, and then, of course, getting out and exercising. That's another thing, you know.
Now, what would you say to people who just say, you know what, I just don't have time to exercise, or I just don't feel like exercising? How do you encourage and support people?
Once they tell me I don't have time, I say, excellent, because I don't have time to exercise either. A matter of fact, you will be happy to know that the longest living culture, Loma Linda, California. You know, there are many healthy groups or long living groups. The Okinawans of Japan, National Geographic showed it. Who else? The Hunzas, and also the Seventh-day Adventists in Loma Linda, California. They have been found to be the longest living culture. Do you know they per se don't have a time to exercise?
Really?
No.
They don't make it a special time?
No, it's not like, oh my goodness, it's 6 o'clock, I got to get to the gym. No, they don't have a specific time for exercise. What they do, however, is they live a culture of exercise.
Ah, okay.
So when they pull up at that supermarket, they don't pull up next to that nice little blue sign with the handicap chair. You know what I'm talking about. They don't wait by the door waiting for somebody to move out, following people like you're stalking them to get their spot because it's the closest to the door. They don't do that.
Right.
They park at the furthest point of the parking lot, and they walk. And they don't, some of them don't even use carts. They grab the bags, bloop, and they walk back to their cars. They live a culture of exercise. When they go to a building or they go to some area, they don't take the elevator. They take the steps. I'm like, they haven't been in New York.
Yeah, right.
But they'll probably take the steps, you know.
Yeah.
When they're home, at home, they purposely leave things in separate parts of upstairs and downstairs so they can force themselves to exercise. So they live a culture of exercise. They're in the garden every day. They don't have a per se specific time. So when people say, I don't have time, fantastic. When you're taking that train home, stop an extra stop. You know what I mean? Stop 2 stops. When you're taking a bus, of course, if it's not late at night.
Right.
So people will find all kind of, but it's late at night.
Right.
All right, so then do it in the morning.
Right.
Go walk to the second station, or when you're taking a bus, you know, stop 2 stops earlier and walk home. It's a culture of exercise, you know?
That's a great point, really. You know, for those who might say, well, I can't join a gym, or I don't have the money to do that. Well, you can walk around the apartment, or you can walk up the block, or you can have that culture of exercise.
Fantastic, because you're just spending money on a gym. Let me not say waste, because for some people they need that motivation.
Right.
But for those, the majority, you don't need to be in a gym, you know, hanging out with all these people, everybody's sweating all over you, you know what I mean? Go outside, and actually these gyms are expensive. Take that money that you would normally spend on a gym, put it in an envelope. I think it has 3ABN, West Frankfurt, and Dare to Dream or something of that nature.
Okay.
Send it over to Dare to Dream so you can do more programs and say thank you for the information. And so now you're actually supporting the work, you're helping yourself, and it's a beautiful circle or cycle that continues, and everybody is happy as a result.
Amen. That's good. That's good. So when you do your menus for people, do you take your suggestions from what they like, and then you tweak it, or do you have specific menus in mind for people?
Of course. It's crucial. Actually, in our trainer program for our consultants, we say you have to work with people where they're at. You never seen Jesus going up to somebody and say, hey, look, check this out. You know, you ready to follow me? Yeah, drop your stuff or whatever. But when he chose like his disciples and stuff, he was very defined. He didn't really take them and change their whole lives per se. He found out what their strengths were, and that was their work. You know what I mean? And so he picked and chose effectively. So when we work with our clients, when we sit down, if they like macaroni and cheese, fantastic. You can have it if you make it yourself.
And you make it so good.
We'll do it from scratch, and we'll use maybe cashew cheese or something. Some people say, I'm allergic, so they always find excuses. I'm allergic to nuts. No problem. We can make cheese out of potatoes. You know, what kind of cheese do you want? We'll make it for you. I love chicken. No problem. Enjoy the chicken. It's just going to be called chicken. You're going to take some tofu, add some seasonings, some cumin and stuff to make it, you know, taste similar. But let me just be honest. It's not going to be the same thing, okay?
But it's delicious. And even those, I think I mentioned this to you previously, that my son is not a tofu aficionado. He just doesn't like tofu. And I said, why don't you try this? And he said, no, Mom, you go ahead. And then finally I said, just taste it. He tasted it. It was your recipe. Now he's saying, Mom, are you going to make that tofu?
Look
I'm
at that.
What?
It's excellent.
It's delicious.
And even for those who don't want to become vegetarian, they're not ready for the tofu or something of that nature, no problem. If you're going to use the meats and stuff like that, just use it the way the Lord instructed. You know, remove the what? The fat, and remove the blood. That's called kosher. And you know, prepare it in a simple way with the simple principles that God has given us through his writings and counsels and diets and foods and all throughout. So our goal is to meet people where they're at. And what we say is, okay, if you don't want to go all the way, that's fine. Can you try one thing? Yes, I'll try one thing. So what we'll do is we'll do a meatless Monday.
Ah, nice.
You know what I mean? And so on that Monday, we'll show them how to make maybe a lentil patty or just some brown rice and beans or something of that nature. So we have to meet people where they're at and then give them a step. You know what it says about health? Health is the entering wedge, not the battering ram and a bulldozer, you know? You have to meet them where they're at and then take it a step at a time. A lot of times I go to different churches and do presentations, or the pastor and the health and temple says, tell them. I'm like, chill out. You know what I mean? We're here to encourage people. You've been telling them for the past 20 years and nobody's been doing anything. So can we try something different here? You know what I mean? And as we meet them where they're at, we're not here to change anybody's lifestyle. You know, we had a great president one time, change. And he finally got in office, and what happened? He realized change is not easy.
It's difficult.
The House of Representatives came and did this to him. The Senate came and did that to him. Now he's just like, just make an adjustment, you know.
Forget all the major changes.
Yeah, forget the change. Just do something. And, you know, people are like, what side is he on now? Because change is difficult.
Change is difficult.
So my thing is to encourage people, and that's what we do in Sonari Life. When a person says, I would like to do something, but my life is all messed up, we say, stop. Your life is pretty good. I say, why is that? If you're here today, you're doing something good today. Because you could be 6 feet under. I've lost friends in their teens and 20s, you know, cancer. And I used to run track with one of my buddies when I used to play football. And one time they called me when I was in school. They said, Ray gone. Where did he go to? Did he go back to Jamaica? Did he go? Ray gone. Gone where? Did somebody get him for playing? You know, New York was bad. You shoot people for playing basketball because they dunked on you. It was really terrible out there.
Yeah.
And no, he's gone. He was running one day, and he had a heart attack.
How old was he?
He's in like 16, 17.
Oh.
Gone. So if you're here today, you're doing something good. Now, what are we going to do? We're just going to make a step, 1 or 2 steps, simple things that you can do. As we were looking here, just simple ways to improve the quality of your life. And I'll share with you some simple tips.
Yeah.
It says you can improve the quality by about 2 years of being a vegetarian. Okay, cool. So if you be a vegetarian, you improve the quality, not per se add in, but you improve, you know, you feel better as a result. If you don't want to be a vegetarian, no problem. Just minus the quality of 2 years. Amen? Let's move on. And, you know, another one is eat a handful of nuts. Now, I got to see a handful.
Right, you know,
you see, some of us go handful, or we eat a bag full, or by our desk on the job, we have a can full. Too much at one time. Just a handful, closed fist, upside down. Fantastic for you. Exercise regularly, which is what? The culture of exercise. And that's about 3 to 4 years. You improve the quality of your life. You ready for this? This is deep.
Okay.
This is deeper than the deepest sea.
What is it?
All you have to do is volunteer and help somebody.
Oh, come on.
Once a week.
Really?
And it will improve the quality of your life by 7 years.
You mean the length of your life?
Just the quality. You see,
by 7 years.
7 years. So instead of being in a nursing home for 7 years, you out there having a good time for 7 years, you know what I mean? Or instead of being sick, and nothing against people in nursing home, I don't call them nursing homes, I call them retirement resorts.
Oh, okay.
Do you know why that is?
Do you go visit them?
Oh, I visit them all the time. It's the best place. You see how I talk so much now? When I go there, I shut up. Really? I just listen. So tell me some more. Well, son, what you need to do? And I just listen.
A lot of wisdom, right?
There's tons of wisdom.
Yes.
Forget the library, forget school. I go to retirement resorts. I call it a resort. I say, y'all, they said, this place is a mess. I said, this place is beautiful. Why? Because you never have to cook. You got fountains. All you do is hang around, stroll around all day. This is amazing because we're here to what? Encourage them.
Yeah.
And just by helping somebody once a week, they've shown, National Geographic study with the blue zones and stuff, they show that it improves the quality of your life by 7 years.
Oh, and isn't that biblical, though?
Oh.
Because by watering others, we're watered.
So, yeah, let's go to that spiritual principle. The Lord said, do unto others as you have them do unto you. Treat your neighbors as you want to treat, be treated. And so it's like health and the spiritual. They come together. You can't separate them.
That's right.
They work hand in hand. And here's the most important one. If you just attend and participate in church, it will improve the quality, just once a week, preferably, Saturday.
Right.
But come out on Wednesday, too. If you just attend church and participate, it improves the quality of your life by 7 to 14 years. You have an improvement of life. And so, who knows health best than the Lord? So if we just follow his simple principles and fellowship, I know sometimes church could be a little stressful, people in their little positions and having a good time. Yeah. But hey, just go and just fellowship. None of this in like a drive-through. Sometimes we treat church like a drive-through.
Yeah.
Amen. And we're going again, Just hang out after church. Bring an extra lentil soup or bring some chicken or something like that to church. And fellowship with the people, and man, it's just amazing how lives will change. I mean, you will be blessed as a result. As we see, you've been helping people quite a bit. That's why you're doing so well.
The Lord is good.
And so if we all can do something, that's why, that saying, there's more religion than a loaf of bread, you know what I mean?
Yes.
When you cook something healthy,
yes,
bring one over. Bring another loaf over to your neighbor. Share and have a good time. A lot of times we're keeping it, and in our society, we don't even know what our neighbor's name is anymore.
See, real health is more than just, the physical. It's the spiritual. It's the emotional.
Oh, it's deep.
It's the social. Thank you so much. Nice. I'm so glad that we had you here today. You have been such an inspiration. It's so great. I love to see young people on fire for God. And so when I look at you and see what you're doing for the cause of Christ, it's an inspiration. And I know that so many people look at you and are inspired by what you do. So thank you so much for all that you do. Well, there you have it. Health Secrets from Nice. Thank you so much for joining us on Urban Report. It doesn't take much to incorporate these principles. All you have to do is just try it. Just get out there and do something different. Thank you for joining us. See you next time. It wouldn't be the same without you.